A couple of weeks ago, I had the opportunity to take a road trip with some friends to the southern coast of France. The plan was to get accommodations on the Italian side of the border and then kind of use that as our base and then drive every morning into France to visit a different town or a different location for every day of that week. For this trip, I took the Fuji XF10 with me, and that's pretty much it. One of our first stops was a quaint little town called Dolceaqua, which translates to sweet water in English. The older part of this town, which was once visited by Napoleon, it's surrounded by this river, and it's by far my favorite part of Dolceaqua. While we were there, I had heard someone say that it was difficult to take pictures there because of the really dark corridors and the shade and the high contrast situations that it creates. I, however, thought the light was amazing. I thought it was perfect. As far as accommodations, we ended up getting an Airbnb in a little place called Ventimiglia. It's a cool little vibrant town/city. I can't really put it into words, but this town or this little city, it just has a little bit more edge to it than some of the other places in that area. We happened to arrive on one of the evenings when they were celebrating some type of festivity. There were people everywhere out on the street. The temperature was just right. Like, I don't know, the noise of the crowds just felt reassuring somehow.
Buonasera, sono Flavio Di Muro, sindaco di Ventimiglia. Voglio augurare a tutti voi una fantastica serata con...
We saw a crowd forming to watch the fireworks show, and I took out my Fuji XF10. And then I decided that I would put it into manual and slow down my shutter speed in order to get some shots of the fireworks that really conveyed how grand and how huge and big the fireworks show felt to me. The following morning, the plan was to go to a place called Menton, right on the French-Italian border. But on the way there, we made a quick pit stop on the Italian side, just about a quarter of a mile away from the crossing, and we went for a walk. Because keeping my workflow simple was a priority on this trip, I shot the majority of the images in snap focus, which meant that my aperture was stopped down to either f5.6 or f8. This allowed me to capture the scenes in front of me, even though the light was extremely harsh and bright. After walking around for a little bit, we crossed the border into France. I put the camera away for most of the time that we were in Menton, and I only made a few photographs, just here and there. Most of the day we spent it swimming in the water. I really did enjoy this town, and it's a place that I would love to go back to at some point and document properly. Our next destination was Monaco, or Monte Carlo to be specific. This was a And it was an interesting place. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't my favorite. It feels like it's part of France, but it really isn't. It's its own country. They have a prince, and there's a tremendous amount of wealth there. Lots of yachts and fancy cars and hotels. I think that day was probably the hottest day of the trip, and that's really saying something since it was scorching hot all week. That day we walked 23,000 steps in direct sunlight, so taking pictures was really not like at the forefront of my thoughts. But once again, having a camera like the Fuji XF10, it just made it so simple to shoot and to document and journal the memories of that day, even if all I wanted to do was to find shelter from the sun. Out of all of the places that we visited, though, Nice was my favorite place from this trip. We also happened to go there on a day where they were celebrating and honoring soldiers who had given their lives for freedom in World War II. It was a clear reminder that freedom isn't free. All of these amazing views, liberties, and the freedom to travel around peacefully, these were all made possible because people gave their lives to protect those very same liberties. Even though we were in Nice, it somehow felt like home here, like I was in the States somehow. We walked around for a little bit and eventually made our way over to the historic center, which is filled with these like beautiful narrow streets and alleyways. After just exploring the different markets and the different shops, we eventually made the climb to the top of this hill where there were these like the locations of some ruins. There was like a snack shack there. We were able to hang out and relax and eventually make our way back down. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching to the very end. I hope that you found some value in today's video. Stay safe, be well, and I hope to see you guys in the next video, okay? Have a great morning, afternoon, or evening. All right.